It's time to peel back with Maddie Levine, presented by Fight Bananas.
What's up, guys? We are back. Wednesday nights are all about peeling back what's going on in the MMA world. I'm your host, Maddie Levine. Thank you for joining as always, and make sure you are subscribing, you're liking, you're sharing, because I love bringing you your favorite fighters. And this week, we have a fighter, of course, and this one is a flyweight from Canada who's got big news to share, and she's trying to stay in that win column after having a very impressive performance her last time in the UFC cage. It is Jasmine Jasudavicius. How you doing, Jasmine?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. Did I completely butcher your last name?
No, you did well.
I did well. All right.
Yeah.
I didn't want to pull an Ariel Helwani and try and do a bunch of different takes on it. So I'm glad I did it well. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Yeah. Had
So
training this morning. Sorry, go.
Oh, no, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I just telling you about my day.
I would love to hear it. Go ahead.
Just training. That's it so far.
Yeah. Where are you in Canada right now?
Yeah.
Are you going to be coming back to Miami to do some training again with American Top Team this time?
I'm not too sure. I was I have a meeting with my coach actually this evening, and we're gonna discuss and kind of figure out if we're gonna stay here for camp and try to bring a couple girls in, or if I should just head down there again.
Yeah. So before we get talking about American Top Team, I'd love to talk about your last win when you fought Gabriela Fernandez. And you said something interesting. You said, now that I'm back in the win column, super important, I'll open up a bit more. So what does that look like when Jasmine is just fully being herself in the cage?
Just more like being more free, not focusing on only getting the takedown and solidifying position and then trying to get the finish on the ground. More being confident with more of my striking and being able to mix my grappling and my striking better.
And I know you had a birthday shortly after that. So how did you celebrate not only the win but your big day?
I just got together with family. I feel like it was the first time in probably 7 years that I was actually able to celebrate my birthday. You're always in camp or getting ready to be in camp, or you're waiting for short notice or something like that. And so it was really nice to actually be present with my friends and family members.
Yeah. Did you feast? Do you like to imbibe in a couple of beverages?
Oh yeah, we did. I went over to friends of ours, and they have a beautiful property, and they've got quads and all
fun.
this, snowmobiles, all that kind of stuff. So we went ripping around and enjoyed the outdoors, and then went inside and had a big dinner and enjoyed some drinks and just had a great night.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm glad you got a chance to do that, especially after years of not being able to. But you have been very busy in the cage, so that's always a plus too. I know you had spent your last camp a little bit with American Top Team in Florida. And how did it feel to share the mats with such high caliber fighters? Because I feel like whenever you find a really good fighter, chances are they're at ATT. So tell me a little bit about maybe some of the rub that happened there.
Yeah, so being able to have American Top Team and having the availability to go there, they're so welcoming. They're such great people. The coaches are amazing. They're beyond words. And then there's also the training partners, and they're killers out there when they're competing. But in the gym, they're sweet and they're humble and they're welcoming. They're very nice people, and so I'm very fortunate to be able to work with them and to learn from them. I had the opportunity to do a little bit of training with Joanna, and just to be able to share the mats with somebody of her caliber was inspiring to me. And so I just I hope that some of that rubs off on me, and I can continue to grow, and I know that American Top Team will be a great portion of that.
That's awesome. I know for me, if I'm walking into ATT and I see somebody like Joanna, I'm gonna be like, "Oh my god, like, should I even be here? I don't know." So did you have to deal with maybe a little bit of nerves like that? Because have you ever heard of imposter syndrome?
Yeah.
So I deal with that on occasion. And do you find yourself feeling like, "Oh my gosh, like I can't believe I'm in this room?" Like, how did you battle those feelings?
Yeah, definitely. It's funny because the day before that, I had a really hard practice. Like some days you're just like not on, and like I was just getting beat up and like had a bad day. So like the next day going into training, I was like a little bit like, you know what I mean? Like not feeling the greatest. And then she walked in, I'm like, oh my goodness, like you know what I mean? Like
Oh
I just
crap.
exactly. And I got to do a little bit of training with her, so like initially I was like nervous as hell,
Mhm.
but then she's super nice, and she's like very like open and welcoming, and so we got along like great in our drilling, and I was super comfortable working with her after a little while.
Good. That always makes me happy. It's like when you meet your idols and they're actually good people, you're like, "Yes, thank God." Um,
Exactly.
so she is certainly in good company. There's plenty of other females on the mats over there. But I'd love to hear maybe some prospects that you trained with there that aren't necessarily in a major promotion yet. Like, what are some of the bigger prospects that are coming out of that gym, you think?
So there's these two sisters that are there, and they're they're nightmares. Like one, she's very very good grappler. Obviously, striking is amazing too, but I think she focuses a little bit more on grappling, or maybe just at the time when I was there, she was. And then yeah, her sister, she just competed like last weekend in PFL,
Mhm.
and she did amazing. I would say that those two are they're the ones coming up hot right now out of ATT.
All right, I'll have to keep my eyes on them. And you spend plenty of time in Florida, and I'm a one-track minded gal, so I have to ask about food. Comparing Canada food to Florida food, how do they weigh? Who's got the better food?
It's nice to be in Florida because there's a lot more like different food than we have in Canada. In Canada, there's it's some areas. They say you go to Toronto or a little bit far, like a little bit farther from where I am, and you can get some different varieties of food. But it was nice to be in Florida because there was a lot of places open late, and I haven't tried many of those places. Unfortunately, I was like dieting, so I was very like
Yeah.
aware of where I was eating. But like for example, acai. I love acai bowls, but you can't get one around here within like maybe 40-minute drive.
Oh, yeah.
So
I'm sure you
is
can find them everywhere in Miami.
exactly. So it's just like different things, and like trying different foods, going to different like grocery stores and seeing what they have. It was awesome.
Is it true that in Canada, poutine is like all the rage? Is that a real thing? Like, are people having poutine a lot?
Yeah. I
So,
mean,
like,
so
what is the deal with poutine? Because I'll see pictures of it and I'm like, I don't know about that. Like, do you like it?
I love it. Poutine,
Really?
literally, yeah, in high school. Okay, this is so funny. In high school, every single day for lunch, I got an extra large poutine. And it was funny because the school was only supposed to, the biggest size was only supposed to be large, but the lunch lady was one of my friend's moms, so she would hook me up with an extra large, a whole bunch of cheese,
Oh my
bunch of
god.
gravy. Every day, literally every day for lunch. Sometimes I'd have a hamburger with it, but mostly just a poutine.
Honestly, having the lunch lady as a hookup, that's a pretty big flex. So,
Yeah, it
that's pretty
was sick.
awesome. I love that. So, I also wanna go back a little bit, after your loss in the UFC. I commend you for being so honest about the lessons that come with a loss. And you said you learned a really hard lesson about patience. So I'd love to hear you talk about that lesson and what it gave you to move forward.
So it's like MMA is and life, they're the same thing, and I was in my fight style, it was like kind of what I was doing in life. I was like trying too hard and pushing too much. I only had push. I didn't have any pull to it. I didn't have the yin to the yang. And so that was one of the like big lessons that I learned is like sometimes you have to give a little to get a little to get more. And so it was like I feel like it was kind of like an encompassing thing, not only in my fight, but like in my life too. So I feel like I've kind of like chilled out a little bit and feel like I've started to understand a little bit more that I need more balance.
Yeah.
And so I was like, it was one of those lessons because like I did believe that I did everything right, and I thought doing all of the things that I thought that I was doing the right thing. So it was like a super, super tough lesson because I believed it, wholeheartedly. I believed I did everything right. And so it was tough, but yeah, patience and like just understanding more balance.
Yeah. And it takes a big person to admit, like, damn, maybe I was wrong. I freaking hate being wrong.
It
It's
sucks.
like,
Yeah.
oh, I don't want to admit it, but I guess I will. Okay. It's just
Yeah.
going to make me better. But I really enjoy following you on social media because you're becoming quite the influencer. I love all the games you play, like the trivia games and the vlogging, and one in particular, MMA is fucked.
Yeah.
Hilarious. And so basically, now tell me if I'm wrong, do people just share crazy stories in the MMA world with you? And you just announce or you share the story?
Yeah, literally, that's what it is. People just DM me their craziest MMA stories, and I have somebody helping me out with it. So he'll kind of pre-read them to make sure that they're good stories. Some people like one guy said, "Oh, I got punched and there was like a booger on the glove." I'm like, yeah,
That
that's some
everyone. It's
yeah, it's like
happened to everyone.
so he kind of proofreads them, and then he'll like mark the ones that are actually good. So then when I'm recording it, it's my general reaction. Like I'm not, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
not like anything staged or anything like that. I'm like actually reading. It's like, oh no, like
Oh, that's cool. So it's like your genuine reaction to what you're reading, and you're like, oh, Jesus. Well, I
Yeah.
gotta ask you, like, what is the most fucked up one you've heard so far?
There's one that I have coming out in a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, like we'll I think it's planned for not this week, but the week after. That's a good one that I've liked, but there's you hear some good ones. There's some ones that I like can't share at all. I'm just like, I can't I
Wow.
can't say that.
Wow. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
but
Oh, I'm so curious.
I want to I gotta figure out how to like make a website or a thing where somebody can write their story anonymously, because I feel like more
Yeah.
people will share if it's anonymous,
Yeah, that's
you
fair.
know? Yeah, and like some of the stories I'm like, oh, I can understand why people wouldn't want to share this.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
I gotta figure something out with that.
Well, if there's any techies out there listening or watching, like, let's help Jasmine out and figure out how we can get some crazy stories to her.
Yeah.
So you also started the Vicious vlogs, which are really fun. Is that just a fun way to connect with your fans?
Yeah, pretty much. I started to like realize how important social media was, and being able to actually connect with my fans and to show them my personality, because like
Mhm.
I'm kind of I'm a different cat, I guess.
I
So
think that's why people love you though, because like you're comfortable with being your silly self.
yeah, I'm like super genuine. Like people can tell me anything, and I have no judgment for anything like that. So I think people just like watching. So I'm like, why not just make these vlogs, maybe it will make somebody feel more comfortable about something maybe they're not so comfortable about, and then whatever it may be. Or I've got like some girls, they're like kind of in the in between stage. They're not quite adults, but they're not kids,
Mhm.
and so like they'll watch the videos and then they'll like tell me like, oh, it's like, I can't believe you weren't so embarrassed about this. I'm like, oh,
Right,
who
right.
cares.
Oh God, teenagers. Oh
Yeah.
boy. Yeah, I love that, and I love that you're so open. And where do you think you get your silliness from, or like your adventure side from? Like, are you like your mom? Are you like your dad?
I think I'm a little bit like my mom in that regard. Like both my parents, they're like hippies. They eloped in Vegas on April Fool's Day. Like they're like
Ah!
that, like just wild animals. So I think they always kind of like allowed us to be free as kids, and like no like judgments. Of course they had rules, but we would try to break them. But yeah, I think probably my mom's a little bit, she's definitely a bit more crazy.
I love it. Moms are always crazy, aren't they?
They have to be.
They have to be to get through life, you know? They
Yeah.
just gotta have a little bit of crazy in them.
Yeah.
But let's get to the serious stuff. You are fighting soon, so congratulations. That's so exciting. And it's a very special day to me. June 10th is my birthday. So
Perfect.
it's a big day. But Miranda Maverick, she called you out a little bit ago. You happily obliged that offer. And then you guys were kind of, like, all right, see you soon. Now it's finally solidified. Do we have a venue yet?
We don't have a venue.
Okay.
I've heard that it's in Canada, and I feel like it's for sure in Canada, because I think they actually might have announced that it's officially in Canada, but I don't know for sure. But I know like a couple of the other guys, like Monster Nelson, I know he's on the card too. So there's definitely Canadians on the card, so I'm pretty sure that it's in Canada because of that, but I don't know. Initially I heard Vancouver, and then I heard Toronto, and like just recently I heard Calgary. I've heard Montreal. So
So they're
I
throwing
don't
out a
know.
bunch. But just the thought, I mean, you are a Canadian fighter. What would that mean for you to be able to say, like, I am fighting in Canada, bitches?
I can't wait. I had the opportunity to fight in Niagara Falls, like, so that's pretty much home for me, 10 minutes. Um, I got the opportunity to fight there before, and fighting at home is different. It's so cool. It's the most hype thing ever. And being able to fight in a UFC event in Toronto would, like, just be the world to me. I can't even like put words to describe how awesome that would be. And I'm hoping to get Mike Malott signed on the card with me, and it's in Toronto, and like, God willing, all of this just comes through.
I was going to ask you about that. Now, is Mike a teammate of yours?
Yeah, Mike's a teammate of mine.
So that's why we're pushing for Mike.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you guys train a lot together.
Yeah, we train a bunch together. Like, a lot of our schedule is the same. I think only 2 days a week, maybe I don't see him, and one of those is a rest day.
So it'd be pretty awesome to have a teammate on the card that you're constantly with.
Yeah,
That'd be
it would
great.
be amazing.
The higher ups, let's go. Let's get it done. Let's get it done. Back to Miranda. So what are your thoughts on when people actively call you out? Like, for me, it's like, you're calling me out. Why are you like, do you feel like you can beat me type of situation? Like, do you take that route, or do you just take it head on and you're like, fine, yeah, like, let's go?
Yeah, that's more what it was. So what happened was, I saw that she called after the fight. I saw she called me out, and she actually DM'd me, and then I messaged her back because it was like the day after my fight. I'm like, hey, I'm just gonna take a couple of days and like not think about MMA, but I'm gonna send your name off to my manager, because I don't want to shut any doors, and so I messaged my manager. I'd let my coaches know, but I told them, you guys discuss it. Don't talk to me about fighting. 3 days. Give me 3 days. I want to just like zone out. I want to go on a vacation in my head. And
and it was deserved.
yeah. So they discussed everything, and so after the 3 days, they're like, "Yeah, Jazz, like let's do it. We think it's a great fight." So then I think I put out the post saying like, "Let's do it," and all that. Message Mick and the UFC, and we put it together, and it's sick. It makes sense. It's nice. She's number 15, so I'll be able to leapfrog a bunch of people, and I think it's a very favorable matchup. No fight is going to be an easy fight. All these girls are in the UFC. They're top in the world. But I believe that our skills match up very well together, and I believe that I can come out victorious.
The 125-pound division is so much fun to watch. It is just full of just scary individuals. What were your thoughts on the Shevchenko versus Grasso fight?
That was crazy.
Nuts, right?
Oh man, that shakes things up so much.
Yeah, so that's what I was gonna ask you. Like, what do you think it did for the division?
It completely opened up. I feel like it lit a new fire under everyone's ass. Like it's like, oh, okay, like the queen is out. Let's see what, like everything's all shaken up now. Like let's see what's going on.
Yeah. I mean, I'm certainly not in it, and I am just a bystander, but I was almost at that like image with Valentina where I'm like, is this chick invincible? Like, is she even a human? Like, it is so crazy. But the truth is everybody's human. And when you envision your rise to the top, what excites you the most about getting into that ranked 125-pound division?
The dream when you start MMA is like becoming the best in the world, winning that belt and being the best in the world, and competing against girls that are trying to be the best in the world. Like there's nothing more rewarding than to reach your full potential and like just really put like, sorry about that.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, really put yourself out there and try your hardest at one thing. Put all your eggs in one basket and really reach what you can reach. And for me, I believe I can be the world champion. And there's gonna be tough fights on the way up. All these girls are tough, but that's the dream, just to go as far as I can.
I love that. Well, I'm so excited to see you get back in there June 10th. Again, that's my birthday, so maybe I'll have to celebrate it at UFC 289. Why not,
Why not?
But congratulations on the fight coming up and just all of your success this far. Tell people where they can find you online and stuff.
You can find me online on Jasmine Jasudavicius. All my and my Twitter is Jasvicious. So.
Jasvicious. Just find the vicious and you'll find Jasmine.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, thanks for your time, Jasmine, and best of luck in June.
Thank you so much.